people can relate to weddings. They can relate to families. They can relate to the fun friends, the idiot friends, the stress when you bring a bunch of friends together. So we try to take the things that are part of the everyday world and part of weddings in general and put our own little spin on them. So hopefully what you'll have in this is things that people can relate to a little bit, that they've experienced in their own lives or weddings, but then we also give some stuff where you sort of laugh and say, I can't believe that person said that. I can't believe they're doing that. I can't believe they're getting away with it. We pushed some boundaries when we wrote this, but it was never meant to be mean-spirited. And so we kind of feel like if you offend everybody, then maybe you get off by offending nobody. I grew up outside of Chicago. I grew up around all these great, funny Chicago personalities and all these great, funny Chicago personalities. And I knew these guys growing up that were funny, larger than life. They were these big Irish Catholic families. And so they were one of many kids. And once you got down into third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh kid in a big family, they could get away with anything. And so I kind of knew these kids that were sort of hustlers in their own right growing up. So even his name, Jimmy Callahan, was a sort of homage to these kind of like Irish kids in Chicago that just like, they had the city wired because one uncle owned a bar, another uncle owned a restaurant, another uncle had season tickets, this uncle was in real estate. They just kind of seemed to have family everywhere in the city. And so even when the kids were in middle school, they just had this city wired in a way that was so different. So Jimmy is an homage to those type of personalities where you can throw him in anywhere, he can figure anything out, he can hustle anybody, and at the same time, he's got a good heart. So ultimately, he's trying to make people look good. So he's a hustler that's not just out for himself, he's out there trying to make brides happy, their families happy, a wedding happy, so he's really a different kind of con man.